Lyrically, it was really because the COVID hit and we stuck at home and man, mental problem just hit. We're not supposed to be inside these fucking walls for so long. It's like being in captivity. So we really dig into that subject and we decided, this is all the things we want to make. And we want to show the world that, yes, mental problems is a thing. And we're here to drink a beer with you guys.
Hi, welcome back to the Headbangers podcast, where your hosts Nathan and Brad. Here today, we're joined by the boys in Neuropsy. How are you guys doing to start off with?
Doing good. New guys.
Well, yeah, we're good. We're very good. So we want to start off with like a little icebreaker. One that we always like to do is, what's your funniest gig or tour story that recall?
There are too many.
Perfect. We've got all day, so fire away.
We have in gigs, and the funniest ones are when we are in the studio. So, for example, the first day that we started to arrange the studio for Neuropsy back in 2016, it was a beautiful day with a lot of alcohol, and we were just doing the isolation of the room, and I was in a ladder, and Fabio hit me in the nuts with a hammer. So that's one of my favorites.
Hammer smashed balls, man. You're welcome.
That's gotta hurt, to be honest.
Yeah, but then I drink more, so it was okay.
Did it motivate you to play?
Another one was with when Fabio was recording vocals.
Savage.
He's not supposed to record high-pitched vocals. Yes, and then he tried to record high-pitched vocals, and he forgot lyrics, and it was the most hilarious sound ever.
It's perfect.
Was it like sort of like was he about to do the line and realized he sort of forgot? Because I've done that before. And it makes just like this really weird. Like I've done it where it's like it's been like a proper high pitch, like but it's like that realization, like I
forgot. It was something like he started the sentence like, I have a
blah, 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 blah. It was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious.
Is that recording never going to see the light of day then?
João,
if you guys really want to.
João was in fetal position in the middle of the rehearsal room, laughing his ass off. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I got my head so thick that it almost blew because of that. It was amazing.
And then they grabbed my voice and they did some programming, some DJ stuff, and it was fucking amazing.
Maybe for the next release, huh?
Yeah, probably a bonus track with just Fabio.
That sounds good.
Neuropsy.
Sort of like on the subject of like studio time, like what would you say is like the biggest way that you guys have approached entering the studio, like since when you first started? So like, how would you normally go about writing everything like that? Like, what is the process for you guys from like the beginning you started to now? Like, what's the main difference?
Yeah, it started with some recycling from some songs that we wrote when we were from high school. This band started with me and George, the bassist, and the ex-drummer Oleg. We went to school together, and we formed a band in a band called Over My Dead Body in 2012. We used to play deathcore, sort of deathcore death metal, and we recorded a tiny EP. We lost track of it. It was something kids play, pretty much. And a few years later, we decided to rewrite those songs. We changed the lyrics, we changed some riffs, and we recorded we couldn't record the drums, so we programmed them. It sounded like not the best thing in the world, but for us it was pretty good, since we had a tiny studio and we didn't have much money, and with almost anything we did a lot. And the first one was pretty much recycling music. In the second one, the surpassing rational comprehension was something that we've been writing after the first tour in 2017, and we wrote 10 songs with an intro in acoustic and whatnot. And well, pretty much I start doing the riffs at home. I usually sit down with a drummer machine, and after that we hit the studio and we start trying out the things that I've recorded. I send the clips to the guys, and usually George writes his bass parts already at home, so that when we hit the studio to try out the songs, he already knows the song. So it's been like that for a few years. And the thing that was bad but good, for example, now with Vivisection of the Demented, was the fact that COVID struck the world.
Oh yeah.
It was a pandemic situation, and it was really bad. But at the same time, I prefer to see the higher points of COVID. That was for me to staying at home 3 months in a row, just with my guitar and my PC, and
A
just
way
write.
of people. A way of
Yeah, away with
people.
people.
Yes.
Social distancing, the best thing about COVID.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I miss the gigs and the drunken parties, but still, we can do drunken parties in the studio. And fortunately, now after 3 years of almost seeing no one, we're gonna hit the road again. So it's a good sensation.
Yeah, get back
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it.
Really is.
It's like it's been quite interesting, sort of like seeing how bands have like sort of coped with COVID, because like quite a few like of the ones that we spoke to have like kind of always been framing it as like, look, like nothing's ever shut down for a year or two. We just decided, instead of just being sat here waiting for something to happen, we've just decided to write and write and write. And it's like, oh, I feel like in a weird way, there's a silver lining to it where a lot of people did just crack on and like manage to find time to actually like fit in their music, like the passion, because a lot of time like people are either on furlough as well, where for a couple months didn't have much to do, didn't have work or anything like that, so they're like, right, I can just crack on with this. So it's been quite interesting just seeing the mix of reactions people had with the whole pandemic and everything like that, where a lot of people have used it as like, this is my time to like write now, and it's been really cool to hear.
I understood this time as like a time to grow myself as a musician, because I knew all the mistakes I've done in the past and trying to do things just to get things out, and this time I decided not to. And it in my opinion, and I think the rest of the guys in the band and probably you guys, you see a difference between the first things that we recorded and the things that we did now. So I think we matured really well, and it proves that the pandemic could be bad, but it could be good, So for us as musicians to grow by ourselves was kind of nice.
Yeah, definitely. I think like the pandemic had this sort of like fight or flight mentality. Like, you could choose to make something of that time, really like push something. I mean, like me and Nathan, we always been saying recently, the whole podcast really kickstarted during the pandemic because we wanted something to do. We knew that bands, all over the world were just kind of doing the same thing. We're all like sat, either watching Netflix or like, maybe you're working from home, or, there's not really too much going on. So like, why don't we just make use of this time to speak to all these bands, see what's going on, like learn about them, the lives and their albums and their music. So I think there's definitely some positives that came out of it. It wasn't all doom and gloom.
Yeah, I think it was as well, like with this podcast, one thing that we wanted to achieve is we felt like a lot of people would like the local scenes around everywhere really was suffering. So we just wanted to bring more like attention to local bands and get them exposure in ways that, you know, they wouldn't be able to before the pandemic or anything like that. They might have been gigging constantly trying to get exposure that way. So we were like, why not help the scene that we love in the process of it as well? Like, you know, interview bands, but also just make sure that we keep like everyone, so like promoting, you know, your local scene as much as possible. So yeah, that's what we tried to push with it as much as possible as well.
And thank you for
I
that.
can relate.
Yeah,
I
really.
can relate. I can relate. On the inception of the pandemic, me and my wife started to work on our own label and expand it. And I had previous
nice.
backgrounds. Yes, I had a previous background in music engineering and sound engineering. I took a degree, got a certificate, and we currently are trying to evolve the enterprise. We really made an enterprise, and we want to divulge the bands, spread the word, and make a lot of sounds. And a good thing about this pandemic is, as so much musicians were stuck at home with their instruments and wrote a lot of stuff, a great deal of them do not know how to mix, master, and such, and they usually pay for someone to do that, and that's where I come in, because I can do that. And look, I know you have some tracks, I can mix and master it for X price or something like that. If you're interested, I have my portfolio here. I can do that, these things. I can work with this, all of this. So if you're interested, send a message to this email and we can speak. Or if they need like marketing services, my wife is have a degree in marketing, and she's an outstanding entrepreneur, and she can provide an array of services to the bands, and so that's exactly what we did. And
It's awesome.
this pandemic was a golden opportunity for that.
Definitely. Like it's so good. It's so good that you did that as well, though. It's because, you know, there's I always like have a thing of like eventually, like with the local, like with you know, like musicians and bands and that, you have to also give back to your like to people like in your scene. Like you really do. Like you can take as well, but you I feel like you also have to give back in some way, because it's so
Indeed.
important, because it keeps it
Yeah,
thriving.
for sure.
Indeed. It's like the bands need someone to do some work they can't do, or they don't have the time to do, or such.
For the
And
knowledge.
yes, and we provide that, and we have our share, but we put the bands out in the world, and that's beautiful. We sometimes we see like, I know a band, a Brazilian band, that band was the most heard band on their state because of us. That was awesome. That kind of stuff
yeah.
is awesome. It's awesome to know. It's awesome to achieve stuff like
Definitely.
that. So
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's
And it's
important
good
that like,
because it's the same label that Cabbage is in, that grabbed us and done a magnificent PR job with us. So we are completely in love with the job. We know Cabbage because he's the producer of the band and now the guitarist. So it's amazing. And also his wife, Daimu, she's amazing. And she's always there for the band. It's like really wholesome, you know. You see mostly in the underground scene, people just try to attack each other instead of bringing themselves together. So yeah, that kind of says me out. But what can we do? We just try to be nice to everyone.
This is not a
And if
competition.
someone likes it,
Yeah.
yeah, this is not a competition. We want to live from music, just like probably most of them want. So instead of just trying to bitch about it, why not just get all together and
Yes,
play?
but I speak for myself. I just want to. I just want to have to. I just want to see Fabio recording highs again. That's what matters
That's
to
what the
me.
world needs.
You're in
Oh,
luck.
Yeah.
Our next
That's
album is
honestly
going to
super
be
awesome,
only
guys.
high-pitched noises from me.
Yeah.
I will
Feel that
tell
way.
you
Gonna
guys this
suck
for
balls.
Fabio.
No, too right, too right.
Gonna make some Chris Barnes noise.
Ooh, too soon. But yeah, no, I wanted to speak about your new album because it absolutely fucking slaps. Really good job, guys.
Thank you so
What
much.
inspired the concepts of the album? Like, obviously musically, lyrically, like what was going on when you were like creating this? What was, you're looking towards?
Well, lyrically, it was really because the COVID hit and we stuck at home and man, mental problem just hit. We're not supposed to be inside these fucking walls for so long. It's like being in captivity. So we really dig into that subject and we decided, yeah, this is all the things we want to make. And we want to show the world that, yes, mental problems is a thing. And we're here to drink a beer with you guys and fuck the problems away.
Well,
A bottle a day keeps the troubles away.
I have this
New
better.
slogan.
This is chocolate. It's
Yeah.
better than beer.
Fun fact. We have 3 drunken guys and Cabbers that doesn't drink. It's
kind of-
funny.
I don't
Yeah,
like
I mean, I
alcohol.
would be having a beer, but
It's
I
Yeah,
should have brought
to-
some, Nave. I feel disappointed now that
I've
we
been
didn't bring.
I've been trying to cut down on drinking this year, but like feel like after New Year's, all I got was just beer and beer and beer. I've just got such a massive stack of it at my house, and now I was like, this was meant to be like the year I'd calm down with drinking, but everyone's like, nah, Nick, keep going.
Yeah.
No, beer doesn't count, mate.
yeah. It's like a soft drink,
If it's below 2%, it doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly.
pretty much. For example, for me and Fabio, it's difficult to quit drinking because we work in a bar. So
Oh shit!
Get in
Yeah,
the
that's
bar in
impossible.
Japan.
man.
actually,
Yeah,
the
like,
bar where
we know,
work,
like-
it's the first tour date that we are gonna hit. It's 5 March.
I'm gonna say like we have mates
We're
that
gonna-
work in a bar and like they just drink all the time just because it's so accessible. Like you just
Yeah.
like, on my
I
lunch
really-
break, I'll pour myself a pint.
I really don't like. Personally, I really don't like alcohol. Not even beer. The way it hits the stomach, I don't like. I choose another way. Actually, I'm a weed guy. It's just
Yes.
Hell yeah.
weed. And I have no problems in admitting that I'm a weed guy and a proud weed guy.
Oh yeah, definitely. To be fair, like since I've tried calming down on drinking, I found myself smoking it a little bit more because like if I go out with friends and like I'm like, I don't feel like drinking, I don't want to not be like on some kind of wavelength. Like you might imagine being sober surrounded by drunk people, you'd be like, so like I'll just have a little bit and I'll be like, at least I'm on sort of a similar level. Like
Yeah,
Dude,
the worst thing that you can do is to be sober around drunk people. You
but
don't know
yeah,
how to act
it's so
because
bad.
they don't know how to act.
I have to say something. Being sober around drunk people, you see some hilarious stuff.
oh yeah.
Really hilarious stuff.
I was saying to some friends, it's like toddlers are just mini drunk people. Like when you think about it, like a toddler is just like a miniature drunk person. Like it's like as soon as people are pissed, like that's it. They just like go back into a toddler state. Like it's like they start acting up. Littlest thing will flip them out. Like
And you're like that. Interesting. I
Yeah.
like that. Please continue.
Yeah, and then like eventually you're gonna have to go. All right, time out. Come on,
Just 2
come on,
seconds, guys.
back on the naughty step. All right, come on. Time to
Yeah,
go
definitely.
home.
It's, I prefer to smoke and be like in a corner or something and being like that. Dudes, yes, yes, yes.
I prefer
Hey, to be
both.
fair,
You get drunk,
or
you get
both,
stoned,
yeah.
you get drummed.
And the best thing when you're stoned is the munchies. Oh my god. Please.
If you
See,
have
I
Eating
have
a
a
yeah,
blunt with pizza and chips and stuff like that, chocolates. Oh my god, yes, yes. That anytime over some booze.
And
Anytime.
no hangovers as well. You don't get any hangovers.
You do have a
Yes.
it depending on how much you smoke though. You do have like a bit of a foggy head like afterwards. Like when I find the morning after I've been smoking, I'm kind of like a bit disorientated. Like where I'm like, right,
that's when you
what's
you blaze it up again. Take the fog away.
Waking back.
Yeah.
When I smoke, it's like when how what it's how Quicksilver that Marvel
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
sees the world, you know, like everyone is super slow and you're like, oh yes.
Everyone's just like frozen around here.
I remember a funny story from one of the first times that we got completely fucked. It was with his wife, and it's amazing. She was eating French fries from McDonald's, and she just picked up a straw and tried to drink the French fries. We were completely baked.
Oh yeah.
It was beautiful.
So obviously, you know, like coming from Portugal, I kind of want to know what the scene like is in Portugal, especially like when you guys were growing up. Like, what is it sort of like back then and now? Like, is it quite a lively scene in Portugal?
It was back in the day.
Yeah,
Right now,
2010,
not so much.
2012.
I always was an outcast, so I don't know for sure because I never got so much into the scene. I was like by myself playing guitar 24/7 and because I'm still am obsessed with the guitar. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't hang out a lot or know people or something like that. I spent my whole time playing, so I can't say for sure.
Yeah, we spent time playing too, but we actually enjoyed going to gigs. So it's different.
Yeah.
Now you're playing them.
For example,
Yeah, now we're
I
playing
remember
them.
those days when I was
Full
like
circle, man.
14. I was like 14 in Stubble and was like, oh my god, 10 years ago. Jesus, no, 12 years. Fuck, I'm old. And yeah, it was pretty much at Friday night. We get off school at 6:30, and at 8 o'clock we were drinking with our friends to go to the gigs in Stubble. That was a big scene. Actually, one of the biggest bands we have in the country back in the day. They started in Stubble, but they went to the UK. They are more than 1,000. Don't know if you guys heard about them.
No,
So, yeah.
I don't think I
heard
listened to
of
them. I'll have to check them out though.
They play metalcore, and they were a big band here in Portugal, and they were pretty cool for their type of genre. It's not our favorite thing, but it's good. It's really good music, you know?
Mhm,
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure. I wanted to ask, obviously I know it's two of you work in a bar, so like this might be the perfect question because it's one that we always like to throw in every so often. But if you were to like describe your music as a cocktail, what would it be? Because I see you guys as a bit of a mojito, you know, it's quite keen, hits you very hard with the brutality, but then you've got like the sweet melody that sort of like keeps it on its toes. So how would you describe it?
An espresso martini.
Oh, that is a fucking good drink.
Yeah,
It's such a good one.
it wakes you up and fucks you up at the same time. Perfect.
Oh yeah, that's a good answer. You know, I love the espresso martini because it's like if you have it on a night out or if you had it after food, it's like having a dessert drink. So it's
Yeah,
like the
it
best of
really is.
both
I
worlds.
love making them. It's really cool.
See, my favorite's a zombie. A zombie is amazing. Like I went to Whitby with my girlfriend for like a bit of a holiday, like for a birthday, and we went to a cocktail bar and they had such a great zombie there. I was saying to her, like, these are dangerous. Like, why should I? Because I could drink like 9 of them like in a row. And then just
Oh,
be
nice.
fucked, like straight away. But like the taste, I like the taste that nice, so I could just be like 9 of them and just down them all. Like,
Jesus.
honestly,
You guys
Just with the
like,
shaker.
yeah. Are you guys quite good at making cocktails then? Like, have you made like quite a lot over your time?
Yeah,
Well,
at least me, I work.
Fabio is the bartender. I'm the chef. I cook. We
Oh,
work in the same bar because we have a snack bar. We serve types of food, and Fabio is I'm the head chef. He's the head bartender. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's super
João
cool.
is top tier chef. He's amazing.
Thank you.
He's freaking amazing. I miss your hamburgers, dudes. I miss them.
I know you do. You'll love my meat.
I love your meat. I wanna swallow your meat again. I love it.
about like fucking you guys having like a dinner party must be sick of all this. They're like cooking up some gourmet meals and then you're making the cocktails. Like, man, that'd be a sick
And then we
night.
smoke some joints, and after that we play. It's perfect. It's like
Yeah.
completely perfect.
match made in
No,
heaven.
I love that. Yeah.
Completely.
And the
Yes.
afternoon remembers a thing. We're pulling Jordi down the stairs, almost in a coma.
Yeah, man. That's a team.
The only thing that's fucked up is, for example, most of the times we work late, and in the morning we rehearse, or either wake up drunk or with the biggest hangover of our life. So it kind of sucks, but at the same
Oh,
time
yeah.
we start drinking again, and it all goes away. So
Exactly.
It's
Hair of the dog, you know?
hilarious.
The guitarist for my band has like a really like funny video of me like once because I didn't plan it well. We had like a practice on the Sunday and I forgot and I went out on the Saturday and I get home until like 6 in the morning and like I woke up and it was like 10 o'clock. He was like, I'm outside. I'm like, so I quickly got ready and like he's got a video of me whilst like Danny's like our drummer's playing the like drums. I'm like sat next to the drum riser just like absolutely like keeled over, just like with my head, like my head in my hands, just like. And he goes, Nathan, what's up? I like looked at him like he started going like that. Like, no, I can't do it.
Existence is pain, Marty.
Yeah, I was there like, I was like thinking, how long have we got? We got 3 hours of practice, and like my head was just pounding. I ended up like there was like a bath, like almost like a kitchen area right next to the room. So I just like dunked my head underneath the tap and we're just like pouring cold water over it to like try to like wake myself up a little bit.
that's fucked.
Well,
Honestly, it was a nightmare of a practice. I was like, I didn't get anything done. I was like laid on the sofa. I was like, guys, just carry on without me.
I'll set some up.
Well, for a sober point of view, that's absolutely hilarious because I come from a bit far. I don't live near them, unfortunately. I come from a bit far, and then I get into the rehearsal room, and they are already there or something like that, and hi people, how are you? Are you ready? And they are all like, oh. Come on, let's play. And they're, oh.
Fuck you, cabras. Like
Someone
that.
has to be the group motivation, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Cops, I know that you do a bit of tattooing. So is that like a full-time thing? And like, what's like your most favorite piece that you've ever produced? Like you're most proud of?
Unfortunately, for now, I'm not tattooing full time because of the pandemic. I had to find a job, so I work with Fabio because I need something steady to pay the bills. I still tattoo as a guest artist in a shop in Stouffville. They are one of our sponsors for the band, so it's amazing. The guys are amazing. So nothing better than the metal, alcohol, and tattoos. It's perfect. And I have 3 or 4 favorite pieces. One is a Davy Jones that I did in a friend of mine. that he has it on. It was like my big first tattoo, something like this big, like 2 heads of mine. So yeah.
Nice.
I have a cat skull that I tattooed to a girl that's from upstate. She's amazing, and she took the train, if I'm not mistaken, just to tattoo with me. So for me, that was really lovely. And I have the venom that Fabio has on his leg, and the back piece that I'm doing on his back as well. That's from
Nice.
our first EP, complete Anubish, sitting on a throne. So yeah.
Can I see the venom tattoo?
Pull down your pants, Fabio.
We don't usually ask guests this, by the way. Just for you guys, you know.
Let's go.
Yeah, this is the thumbnail right here.
Am I wearing some undies? Yes, I am. Okay, good. Let me see if we
Yeah,
can guess.
That's really sick, actually.
Nice leg.
Oh, I know. Thank you.
Nice balls, bro.
You guys can
That's
sense
super cool, though.
That's really good.
Yeah, me and Nathan are massive Marvel fans, so like, that is sick.
Yeah, massive respect for that. I really like the detail on it, because like,
Yeah.
honestly, I find it so hard to get tattoo guys that can do that level of detail, like straight off the bat. Like I searched for years to get people to do. I've got Lemmy and Ozzy on this arm. I searched for years to be able to find people that could do like the level of detail I was looking at.
Yeah, I'm gonna be quite honest, man. Most of the tattoos that I have, the ones that are made for me, usually either I'm drunk because I tattoo myself, so I enjoy it. It's mostly trash tattoo or a really good tattoo. So I really don't care what I put in my body. So fuck it. For example, I tattooed the end from Neuropsy in my face because it's something that I really wanted to do, because I really love this band. This band for me, it's like everything. So yeah, I've been playing for at least 14 years, and never I've been so happy with music as I am with Neuropsy. So it's amazing.
Definitely, I've always thought about getting the first single that my band like sort of released on my arm, just because it's like it was such a pivotal moment like in my own like life, where it's like, oh, I actually did something. I actually have something to show for like all the work I did with that band. So we've got at least like the first single out, and it's like, oh, I'd like to get it memorized, like memorialized a little bit, just so when people ask me, oh yeah, that was my first ever track I put out. Something nice to remember it by.
Yeah, man, and it's something that we need to be proud for, because we're doing music. Music is what most of us just, even if we don't want to listen to music, either way, we're gonna listen. If you go shopping, you're gonna listen to music. If you're on the car, you're gonna listen to music. It doesn't matter where you are. The music, it's like one of the most important things in the world, because everybody listens to music. Either they like music or don't. So yeah, it's something that's really part of our lives, and there's no escape from that. So yeah,
definitely, it's like it's so important, like, because it's no matter what type of music you listen to, really, everyone listens to it. Everyone enjoys it. I've never met anyone that goes, oh, I'm not a music guy. It's like, come on.
I've met one person like that. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No. Anyone that says that is lying. Anyone that says that is lying, because everyone puts the radio on the car. Like everyone always puts in the headphones when they're trying to focus. And if you're like, oh, I don't listen to music at all, you're completely lying, because you probably do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think those people are just trying to be edgy. They're like, I don't actually listen to music.
But if they really don't listen to music, they should be in the mental hospital, though.
Yeah. It's just crazy, honestly.
Definitely. I find it relaxes me. Like, it really does. Like, if I put on like when I put on a song, depending on what mood, like, it just helps me focus and just proper like calms me down a little bit. Where it's like just a little sigh of relief, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
definitely. So obviously we all love music here. I want to ask, when did your guys' love of music start? It can be like the heavy music, or like, do you remember like a pivotal moment in your lives where you're like, this is it now. I'm in the long game.
Dying Fetus.
That's a
Good
rough way
choice.
to start, but I respect it.
Yeah.
I discovered Dying Fetus and my whole life changed.
They're fucking sick, to be fair. Really good band.
I started with Cannibal Corpse, so it was
Fucking
like,
hell.
yeah, it was amazing because, for example, my father used to put me to sleep to listen thrash metal music when I was young. So it was even if it wasn't thrash metal, for example, Dire Straits, Scorpions, Guns N' Roses, the old ones, you know, it was something that my father really gave me. It was good. For example, he showed me Lamb of God. It was nice.
Oh, wow.
And after that, I decided to keep searching and discovered the first Slipknot and whatnot. Yeah, but the thing that changed my whole view, it was, for example, Cannibal Corpse, since like I was 13, probably something like that. After the first time that I lost my head, it was listening to Addicted to Vaginal Skin. It was fucking amazing. It was like perfect, man.
Oh yeah.
And after that, I had the pleasure to see them with Suicide Silence in 2015, and was fucking
Life changing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What about you, Fabio?
I started with like Slipknot. I was really into the new metal scene because of my older brother. And I remember being a fucking kid and just showing on the television was a gig of Slipknot, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was hooked for life. My brother, "Hey kid, that's Slipknot." Okay, I'm in. I'm game. Then I started to hear something like thrash, that, and then when I ate that metal, it was, oh yeah, this shit is heavy.
I love
Yeah,
that. I love how like
that's it.
you guys started on like Cannibal Corpse and Dying Fetus. Like that's such a fucking deep dive. Like I feel
Well,
Yep.
like, at least for me, like I started on like, Limp Bizkit, Metallica, and then I slowly just worked my way up, and you guys like, nah, fuck this, let's go straight into the deep end.
well, I mean, I was listening to music before Dying Fetus, but it's like my mother was deeply into heavy electronic music, like Thunderdome and stuff like that, and I got that need for brutality from that kind of music. Then when I discovered metal, it was probably, yeah, it was 1998 at school.
It was a rainy day.
Storm
I
was
don't
brewing.
I don't remember. I don't
It was
remember.
exactly 7:30 in the night.
It was 1998. Yes. I started to listen with a friend, and he would show me Korn, Slipknot, Metallica, Iron Maiden, and such. I liked, but it was like, okay, this
Missing
is
something.
cool, but isn't there anything more heavy, more,
Straightforward.
Yes, and I started to look into the internet, going to cyber cafes and stuff, and I started to know MySpace, and then bands and bands and bands and bands. Yes, Dying
Rabbit hole.
Fetus, Skinless, Spawn of Possession, my favorite band, Disgorge, all of that stuff, and I was like, yes, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Literally, like it's sort of similar for me because I started off with Slipknot. I had a friend.
You're gonna say
I had
this
a
every
friend-
fucking time, Nathan. Every
Yeah,
fucking
I've
time.
gotta-
You say
I've
this story
gotta.
to every band we speak to.
Yeah, because like it has a fun like sort of go ahead about it. Anyway, so I got into Slipknot from like a friend from college, and like I ended up being like one upping him constantly. And then I met my friend Caleb in the same college, who was also like I found out like slowly he was also into metal. Flash forward like a couple of years, we finished college, and the first ever gig we went to was Suffocation.
Oh,
We'd never heard of Suffocation before, and we were new metal kids. We were there like, it's a metal show, let's turn up to it. Like, we turn up to like this like Suffocation show wearing corn shirts. That's how like early we were into like our like sort of like being into metal. We were like, oh, you know, new metal was like the heaviest shit we'd heard at this point. And then as soon as like Suffocation played, like I remember just looking at my mate Kale and like, yeah, this is it. Like this is like, I was like, nah, death metal all the way for me. Like it's literally, I never saw a band that was so like heavy in my entire life at that point. I was there like just in awe with it all. I was there like, yeah, no, I'm going full death metal from now on. Like,
Oh, hell yeah.
So, I'm like sort of the subject of death metal. One thing I always like kind of like to ask bands as well. Like, I feel like we're going into like a bit of a renaissance when it comes to like a new wave of death metal. What do you think is it that like has been driving a lot of bands to that sound now? Like, because I feel like it kind of dipped off, and now we're just seeing shit tons of incredibly good death metal bands just coming out and really, really bringing that sound back.
Resources, lots of resources. You hadn't like Guitar Pro. I don't know, but probably not everyone could have Guitar Pro like 25 years ago, and that kind of tutorials, that kind of instruments, even everything. There are exponentially more resources now, and that enables people to not play more, but like focus their training on the specific things they want to achieve.
Yep.
Why is everyone
very
looking
true.
at me like that?
Because you're pretty. For example, I think that's correct what Cabras is saying, but I also think that death metal is something that's a classic. It's a genre that's always been a classic. So it comes in waves, but it's never forgotten, you know. For example, now we have a lot of people just sitting home, just wanting to punch stuff because they can't go out. It's, for example, the same thing that we talk in our new EP. People are saturated of probably themselves, their lives, and they didn't know about it until they were confined at home. And this was a good era for death metal because people had the resources, as Cabras was saying, and now we join the resources with the mental instability, if you know what I mean, of people trying to focus their inner demons out. And I think that's why death metal now is being a bit more predominant, you know. We have the resources and the anger. We don't want to put the anger in our loved ones, we put it to music. So I think it's something like that, probably.
Anger is a
absolutely.
great fool. Anger is a great fool for brutal music, no doubt.
Yeah, it's an outlet, isn't it? I think as well, like with death metal, it's always going to be the last resort for people, because if you get into heavier music, like death metal is always going to be the heaviest, most extreme type of music. Like it may come in many shapes and forms, but like if you're just getting into it, you're going to end up at death metal eventually. It's just like a magnet, because it's just it is this the best. I'm not going to lie. Like, you know, in my opinion, it's where the most talent, the most expression, and the best musicianship comes from is death metal. So there's no doubt that people will always drive towards it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm guilty to say that I'm.
You're gay. Tim, you're gay.
I like a lot power metal, a lot.
Yeah, I do
And
as well. Yeah.
It's amazing, and there's some incredible musicianship there too. It's the kind of it's the good side of metal, for so to speak. That music
Light
is
and
really
dark.
It's like the opposite to death metal, like where I feel like power metal is always really positive and like upbeat.
Yes.
Whereas like you get death metal, it's just like hammer smash face. So it's like, right, let's just go as angry and as aggressive
man.
as possible.
Death metal for the winter and power metal for the summer.
Yeah, probably. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Power metal, you're battling the dragon. On that metal, you are the fucking dragon.
Yeah.
That's a really good. That's a really
You
good.
got fucking the
And the
dragon.
fun fact, if you're playing black metal, you're the woods.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely,
Um,
like I feel like it's just it's such a great time to be into death metal now. Like, especially I've noticed like I'm noticing the influence going to other genres. Like I also really like hardcore music, so I'm noticing like the death metal influence is going to hardcore. And I was like saying to my mate, I was like, did like every hardcore kid discover death metal last night? Because it feels like I'm hearing so many like death metal like riffs or entomb style riffs for hardcore bands. I'm there like I like it. But I'm like everyone's just putting it into like hardcore now. It's crazy to see like this amalgamation that it's making where it's not really hardcore, but it's not really death metal. It's like somewhere in between. And it's just crazy, like the level of like influence that death metal is having on all the other genres now, where it's like everyone has like
man.
this, the trem picking style like riffs that death metal was known for. It's like, it's literally like people really going, fuck it, let's mix death metal into as much as possible. And it weirdly fits to every single one of those like genres. Yeah, like
It's like a reverse the Spiced Icon kind of thing, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Definitely.
I think people just want to play like heavy as fuck music, like no matter what shape it comes in. Like if it could be hardcore, it could be death metal. Like people just want to be as extreme as possible and just like absolutely blast someone's ears off. And to me, when I'm listening to music, that's all I care about. Is if it comes from the heart and it's heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I want to talk about, obviously we've talked about music. I want to see like your hobbies and interests. Like what do you guys like to do when you're not playing guitar and you're not singing and you're not, producing music? What you doing?
Playing guitar.
Drinking.
Amen to that.
Bottoms up.
I just hang out with my wife and with my cats, and that's all I need. And that, guys, I also outside of the music, people from the guys from Neuropsy, they're amazing friends. But on the,
Oh, stop it, you.
oh, you like it. But generally, yes, just hanging out with my wife, watch some series, and hanging out with my cats because I really love my cats.
Oh yeah. No, that's awesome. What more could you want?
True.
I know. Brad, now you've got your own place, you need to get your cat as well. You need to get
I know, I really hello. No, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I mean that's sometimes the best thing is just like chilling with your partner or chilling with whoever, just watching TV or watching a movie. Like sometimes just decompression,
Just turn off the world and just be a little bit isolated.
Yeah.
But on purpose,
like-
not like the pandemic, I want to be isolated, I'll be isolated. I don't want to be forced isolated like the fucking situation of COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Definitely, I found that after COVID now, I found like I've like watched so much TV now where it's like Brad will contest this. Well, I'll just be constantly trying to think of stuff to do. To the point where I'd call Brad about like what we're gonna do next for the podcast. Like, hey, Brad, I've got this really sick idea. He's like, are you okay? And they're like, no, this is a really good idea. And I'll like list like a million things that I've thought of, like just keep me entertained. And like he'd be like, get some sleep, mate.
Yeah, I think he thinks like I'm a Word document. Like he can just open this and go on his computer and start typing stuff, but I think he just expects me to be his Word document.
No, it's like I'll think about it like late at night, and then I'll be like, right, I need to iron this out. And like I can't. I'm not one of those people that can sit and watch a movie. Really, I need to constantly be doing something. It's really weird. I can't really turn my brain off.
I can.
Yeah, I know you
You
can.
need to smoke. You need to smoke some weed, man.
That's the only
chill,
thing that
bro.
does like that's it. Like if I ever have trouble sleeping, I'll have like a little bit, and it's like literally an off switch. It's like I could be doing anything. It's like done sleeping straight away.
Goodbye.
I once I had a joint at mine the other day. My girlfriend was over, and she said like I was talking to her, and mid sentence I just went, and that way like I was literally just chatting to her, and like literally just stopped the conversation, and just fell straight asleep. She like it literally like someone picked your soul out your body. You're like,
Oh yeah. So we are sort of coming to the end point of the interview now. One way that we always like to leave it is, what advice would you give to your younger self, and what advice would you give to a younger band just starting out being musicians?
Just
Practice.
stop. I can, but it's hard work. It's not just you grab a guitar, you grab a microphone, you go, you make some music and
Yes.
you go make some gigs. No, it's a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifices, but just go, just do it. If you love it, just do it. Doesn't matter if it's hard. Just have to
Fabio.
battle that axe.
Fabio, it's not just grabbing a mic and right?
For you, man.
You gotta make sacrifices with Satan for that to happen.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
written in the books,
it's-
man. Can't deny it. No, too right. Well, honestly, guys, it's been an amazing chat with you. You've been full of energy, which I love. We've had a real laugh, so it's been fun hanging out. I really hope that you guys will come do a UK tour sometime. We pretty much
we
have no
hope so.
restrictions here, so get over, do some gigs, and we'll be there for sure.
Please.
Oh, hell
We'll
yes.
call you.
And one
Thank you guys so
venue
much.
I can recommend to you guys if you come to the UK, it's Boom in Leeds, where we're from. Honestly, best venue in the UK, in my opinion. So if you ever do get the chance, make sure just try push for that venue, because it's so good. It's a really nice venue. So
Okay.
I can recommend a venue to you. That's the best one in my opinion.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man.
Oh, nice.
And
Oh, you're
we'll,
gonna see
we'll
more
hang
of
out,
it,
have a beer.
for sure.
If we ever go to the UK, we meet you guys and we'll drink espresso martinis.
Oh,
Oh,
definitely,
yes.
definitely.
Sounds
I'll
good.
make them for you guys. No problem.
And also some joints as well, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's mandatory.
You're going full circle, man.
Yes.
Oh yeah. No, honestly, it's been great, guys. Congratulations on that new album. We'll be spinning that a lot
Thank
because
you
it's
so
fucking
much.
amazing.
And
So,
thank you so much for the invite. You guys are amazing.
No,
Yeah,
worries, thank
not a
you.
problem.
You guys are
Yeah, it was
amazing
really
as well.
fun.
check out the new album and catch you guys later. Thank you.